What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. This story's called Mistaken for a Middle Schooler. This happened about 7 or so years ago. I was 20, female, and 5'2" with a baby face, so you could say I was used to being stopped by truancy officers. I was looking to make a little bit of money without actually having a job. I was in college and didn't want to dedicate too much time to anything other than schoolwork. I lived at home and my tuition was paid, so getting a job really wasn't all that important. On the occasion, however, I did odd tasks for my friend and family for a bit of pocket money. My father was, and still is, a middle school teacher. While he is well loved, paperwork isn't really his thing. As such, I would regularly grade his students' work. Nothing too intense, multiple choice and such. Every now and again, I would take a day to go in and assist him in reorganizing the classroom itself. It was always a great time. Students were amazing, and I got to see my father doing what he loved. On this particular occasion, he had lunchroom duty, where he basically supervised the cafeteria and made sure the children didn't get too rowdy. Being a bored college student, I followed him down rather than stay in the empty classroom by myself. Once we were down in the cafeteria, I mostly just became a wallflower, kept out of the way while he called tables of preteens up for their meal. There were a few other teachers around assisting, and a few would wave to me when spotted. Most knew me from the previous occasions that I've been there, and those who didn't figured out the situation pretty quickly by asking myself or their coworkers. I hadn't been in a middle school cafeteria since I had been in middle school, but it wasn't anything overly impressive. It was a regular cafeteria, loud, messy, and full of children. I quickly became disinterested and simply leaned against the wall, drifting into La La Land. Most people were content to just mill around me, but not everyone. I can feel someone staring at me, and after a moment, I check my surroundings. A stocky figure was standing in front of me, clearing their throat aggressively. Giving them my attention, I was met with an angry-looking older woman that I did not know, with her hands folded over her chest. She glared down at me with a frown, tapping her foot in annoyance. I didn't say anything, waiting for her to tell me what she wanted.
Didn't you hear me tell everyone to sit down?
No, actually. I honestly didn't because I wasn't listening. I barely listened to middle school and I actually attended. I didn't.
Well, I did.
Good for you?
Excuse you? So,
She raised her eyebrows and gave an exaggerated shrug.
why are you still standing?
By this point, I was getting more annoyed than confused. I still didn't know what she wanted from me, but I don't like people talking to me in general, and I definitely don't like people talking down to me. So I'll admit, I got a little snarky with her. I'm still standing here because I don't want to sit down.
Now you listen here, young lady. You are going to sit down right this instant.
No, I'm not.
No? I don't know who you think you are, but as long as you're a student in this school, you will listen.
It was at this moment that I knew we'd screwed up. I, of course, wasn't a middle school student, and I was highly offended that she thought I was. While small and unimposing, I'd certainly hit puberty hard enough to not be mistaken for a 7th grader. Still, I tried to be understanding in that mistakes had been made, and I tried to backtrack. Oh, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I don't even go here.
Oh, so now you don't go here, huh? Then why are you here? Go on, tell me another lie.
Quite literally backed into a corner, I began looking around for my father, but I couldn't see him from where I was standing. I didn't need him to come save me, however, I didn't know if I'd be able to convince this woman that 1, I wasn't a child, 2, I didn't attend the school, and 3, I wasn't a pervert trespassing in a middle school before I either got detention or arrested. That's when a random 12-year-old came to my rescue.
OP, your dad is looking for you.
Oh, your father is here, is he?
Grinning and twisting her head as if she was a snake being charmed, the woman looks extremely pleased. Turning to the kid, she smirks wide and gestures with her hands.
And just where is your father?
Right there.
The kid waves down my dad, calling his attention over to us.
She's over here, Mr. OP's dad.
The woman frowned at me, but all I could think to say was, I'm 20, but he's still my dad, which didn't didn't make all that sense. Once the lunch aide became aware of what was happening, she left. She didn't apologize. She didn't double down. She didn't even wait for my father to come over. She just turned bright red and immediately left the room. I never actually told my dad because I don't think he's let me live down getting saved by a 12-year-old. That's so funny and cute. Yeah, I think it's fun being like a little teacher's aide thing. I was one in 10th grade for a 4th grade class, and it was a load of fun. I like to grade the papers and stuff. And I like to think they thought it was cool because I said some cool stuff, you know? I was a badass. This story's called Just Because I'm in a Shirt and Tie Doesn't Make Me a Freaking Manager, Bimbo! I'm tired. In a former life, I worked in a corporate-ish IT sales position for a small but very successful, very nice company that specialized in servicing the financial industry. Yet wanted to start a new division that specialized in a different market with a complex set of digital compliance issues, and I absolutely loved the challenge until I realized that what they wanted me to do, the way they wanted it done, was impossible. During this time, I would drive all over North Central Florida, and one of the only benefits of living in drained swamp country is a grocery chain named Publix, famous for the line of sandwiches commonly referred to as a pub sub, and some delicious hot and spicy chicken wings, which I frequently eat to this day. The funny thing is, any man that walks into this Publix in a shirt and tie, but not if in a suit or sports coat, would probably be confused with a manager due to their dress code. It happened so much, it was just commonplace. I usually just laughed until this crap went down. The following encounter happened in 2016, the original 2020. Here's the cast. There's me and Ebe, or entitled ass bimbo. While walking into this Publix, I feel a bony talon poking me in my shoulder blade. I turn to find Kunticus Caranosaurus, very easy to spot by her faded blonde dye job, fading good looks, costume gold and diamond studded jewelry, and Kato bought clothes, a small town chain store in the south that seems to cater to this market, like a City Trends except for bimbo-y, stuck-up, middle-aged white women, and some basic-ass white middle manager-looking dude. I hated her on sight.
Hey you, Mr. Store Manager, excuse me. Someone banged a grocery cart into my brand new Suburban. What is Publix gonna do about that?
At that time, I was 5'9", 200 pounds, yet I still had my I used to lift, bro bulk, so I didn't look like a lard ass, more like a close-shaved, bald-headed white biker dude heading to court, especially if I had my contacts in and sunglasses on. What? I had just put in my registration via work email in the parking lot. I had no job lined up, but I couldn't keep being paid for a job I couldn't complete. I was reeling from failure and bruised ego, and I just wanted some goddamn hot and spicy wings, my go-to comfort food. Eat them in the parking lot, then drive about 40 miles home. I could have handled this better, way better, but I didn't.
What do they pay you for, loser? Do your freaking job and help me.
This hit me deep. It was like her bony talon metaphysically pierced my broken heart and hit the most sensitive nerve in my wounded male ego. And I actually teared up, just quietly said, "I don't work here. Don't touch me or talk to me again," and turned to walk away. When she screeched something I didn't care enough about to remember and started following me inside. All I remember is making a 10 or so feet inside the store, her harpy ass screeching, the confused voices of the employees at the service desk asking what her malfunction was, then something she said was the back-breaking straw, and I swung around and unloaded on her. I'm not gonna try to remember what I said, but it was at the top of my lungs, and basically, "Listen here, Thunder Cooter! I have you on camera poking me repeatedly! If you don't shut your freaking mouth I'll press charges for assault! Step off and die, woman! Not very proud of that. I've never hit a woman in my life, but I wanted to beat her with my words. Nothing happened after that. Basic white guy she was with postured up at me. I just stared him down rather quickly. I probably looked like a complete psycho. If he knew I hadn't fought since 1994 and still felt guilty for the fallout that guy took from me whipping his ass, he probably would have swung on me. I haven't told this to anyone in 4 years. Just felt like finally sharing. Wow, that's quite the story there, bro. I hope everything's looking up for you now, though, man. It looks like you weren't in the best state emotionally when she got you there, man. Alright, this story's called She Doesn't Work Here. Green Apron versus Maroon Apron. This isn't really my IDontWorkHereLady experience, but I was witness to it. If you don't like long stories, I'm sorry, but not sorry enough not to do it. This morning, I needed an extra jolt of caffeine and sugar, so I took myself to Starbucks. This particular location doesn't have a drive-thru and is also in the same shopping plaza as a grocery store. If you happen to be unaware or need a reminder, Starbucks employees wear green aprons with the mermaid logo, except apparently they occasionally wear a different color, but mainly green. So, something you need to know. This was posted 3 days ago, and I know for a fact that someone I know who works at Starbucks, their store got the red aprons. So keep that in mind. I don't know if that's going to be relevant. I'm a big fan of the Starbucks app, so I'd already placed my order. When I arrived, there were about 10 or so people waiting on mobile orders, all lined up and masked and socially distancing as much as we could against one wall. Another couple of people were at the register, nearer the other wall, placing or waiting for orders. It was pretty obvious that the baristas were slammed. The mobile order area already had several large bags waiting for people to come and pick them up, plus a lot of cups and small bags. They were clearly filling orders as quickly as they could and really needed some of the mobile order customers to show up and take their stuff. I've been waiting in line, having already checked that mine wasn't one of the cups waiting for its customer, when a woman walked in and headed for the register. Let's call her Karen. She wasn't exactly quiet, and the store isn't that big, so I could hear her clearly. She wanted to place a large order, multiple individual drinks, breakfast sandwiches, and bakery items. The employee, I'll call her register, wow, taking Karen's order, advised her that it would take at least 20 minutes, possibly longer, because it was a large order and they were already backed up. Well, this wasn't acceptable. Karen needed her order completed in 10 minimums at a minimum, preferably less. The register explained patiently and nicely that even if Karen was the only person in the store and there were no mobile orders, such a large order would take at least 10 minutes, and that currently they had a large number of orders made prior to Karen that they needed to complete first, so it would necessarily take longer than 10 minutes to make her order. If Karen was in such a rush, she should consider calling the order in ahead of time or using the mobile app. Nope, that was still not acceptable. Karen wanted to talk to the manager. Lo and behold, the manager was one of the baristas frantically making drinks right behind register, and told Karen that if she placed and paid for her order right then, she could come back in half an hour and it would be ready. Karen huffed and puffed, but was unable to blow any houses down. The manager gestured to the line of mobile order customers and said,
See them? They all use the app. They've already ordered and paid, and their orders will be made before yours.
Keep in mind, the entire line of customers waiting for mobile orders had been watching this entertainment, and as names were called, the line waxed and waned, and the woman in line behind me was wearing a maroon apron with the name of the grocery store in the same plaza in big white letters on the front. You see where this is going, don't you? Karen looked around at the line, saw the woman behind me, and demanded that she get behind the counter and do her job. The grocery store employee looked at Karen, looked down at her own apron, maroon, remember, with big white letters with the name of the grocery store emblazoned across the front, looked back at Karen and said the magic words,
I don't work here, dumbass.
So close to Reddit perfection, grocery store employee. So close. Wait, no, that's way better. Naturally, the unwilling customer audience erupted into laughter. Karen turned red under her mask, threw her hands in the air, I have legit never seen someone do that before, and exclaimed, I can't take
this crap anymore.
And she left. I'd love to tell you that everyone spontaneously burst into applause, but they called my name just then, and I got my precious caffeine and sugar and went back home to attempt to do some actual work. Oh, wow. You gotta love people like that. They have ridiculous demands, and they get upset when you can't meet them. Like, sorry, you're just stupid and don't know left from right. I'm sorry. I'm projecting. I'm seriously bad at left and right, guys. I hear that for a lot of people, it's like the difference between up and down. Like, I've gotten a little better at it with age, but I don't know, man. Left, right. Like, if someone is giving me directions and like sometimes they'll be like, all right, go take a right. Bro, take a right. What are you doing? Where are you going? Go take a I'm sorry, man. I don't know. And then somehow I'll end up just going, instead of going right, I'll somehow, in my confusion, end up going straight up into the sky. Alright, this story's called The Karen That Loved Me. This incident happened in Kroger this past Friday, November 6, 2020. Despite being in the— oh my god, it's November? Despite it being in the middle of this thrice damned pandemic, and our building being the center of a small cluster, 9 cases, despite being at 25% maximum capacity, still some 500 employees, we had a group of second-tier execs, not C-level, but the next step down, executive vice presidents, senior VPs, etc., and their entourages were doing a dog and pony show and touring the office. So, of course, shirts and ties for everyone still in-house. After 14 hours of this crap, I headed home and stopped at Kroger for some staples and much-needed beer. I'm going through, filling my carts and trying to pick pretzel nuggets or rods. Neither. Ew. So salty. When I hear this, ahem, you remember Dolores Umbridge from the Harry Potter films? That sound. But from the throat of a 2-pack-a-day smoker. This old lady, face like an extra from a Golden Girls Walking Dead crossover, and clothes like a Michael's craft store vomited on her, was standing behind me and tapping her foot like she'd been waiting for hours. After a moment, she speaks up.
It's about time you's noticed me. No, where the Cheetos? Not the crunchy ones, the other ones.
I'm surprised, annoyed, and not having it. Lady, I don't work here. Do I look like I work here? She pauses, looks, sees my badge hanging off my belt, and her demeanor rotated 180 degrees.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're in a tie and a white shirt. I assumed you were a manager here. I really am sorry.
She starts away, and I laugh. She's standing literally alongside the Cheetos. It's alright, we've all had those days. By the way, right by your head, she looks over and starts beaming. Her Lord and Savior Chester in all his puffed glory found.
Thank you, and I'm sorry again.
Old Bag scurries away. A few minutes later, as I'm in self-checkout, I hear,
"Ooh, he's handsome too. I bet he has a nice smile under that mask."
In line for the regular checkouts, there's the lady, talking and pointing with another old biddy. I'd say it made my day, but at that point, I was too tired to give half a damn, let alone a full damn. But it was interesting enough that I wanted to share with y'all while I take a break from doing payroll. Cheers! Oh, yeah. Weird flex, but okay. Is that the meme? Weird flex, but okay. I don't remember. It was like from last year or something. Odd flex, but okay. It's funny. But yeah, it's a cute little story there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.